Hey guys, and welcome back to Little Black Book. We're here giving you guys episode, I believe 4 we're on now, and we're talking about part 2 of our Share Your Feelings, and we're going to talk about how you can do that and what's required of you to be able to do so. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you like, share and subscribe, and click on the bell button for the notifications of the uploads. And for those of you who are returnees and mineral gang, you ain't got the minerals, baby. Anyway, let's get into our series of introspection. Like I said, every week on a Wednesday, we're going to release a video brand new for you guys at 9 p.m. So we are, as I said, talking about sharing your feelings. And I want to first kind of say this. When it comes to sharing your feelings, there are difficult conversations that are going to be had and that are going to be needed in order to be able to express your feelings. Many times when it comes to difficult conversation, people try to avoid conflict. They try to ignore or try to sidestep the difficult scenario of facing someone face to face and actually having to see them eyeball to eyeball to be able to discuss how they feel. Sometimes it's out of fear, sometimes it's out of self-preservation, and sometimes it's just because, you know, we don't want to rock the boat in order to be able to express how we feel. But one of the things I want to say, obviously, is I want to kind of describe what is conflict. And conflict is a disagreement or an argument which can often be a lengthy one. You know, and this is where a lot of people falter, because they do feel like if I express how I feel, it will end in conflict. But not all conflict is a bad thing. Sometimes conflict is needed in order for you to be able to progress forward. Sometimes conflict is needed to make the other person aware that what they're doing is attritional and actually not beneficial for you. You're gaining no nutrients from what they're doing, and actually it's taken away from you and stripping away from your happiness, your joy and your peace. And like I said, this is 2020, the year of introspection. We are going to be moving forward by doing things differently. Now, I want to talk about obviously why people actually avoid conflict. Sometimes people avoid conflict because the person who they're actually going to have this conversation with could be a very close family member. Oftentimes it could be maybe even an elder in the family, like a parent or, you know, auntie or uncle or an older cousin. Especially if you're in an African household or you know, ethnic background, especially, we do have this power structure when it comes to age, and therefore there is a way that we can address certain issues, which means sometimes we're actually muted rather than actually being able to speak on some of the issues that we're facing. Another reason why people oftentimes find it very difficult to enter into difficult conversations is sometimes we fear the repercussion of that conversation. You may have a friend who says they're your friend, and when you have a conversation expressing how you actually feel, they actually throw it back in your face. They manipulate you, they turn it onto you, they make you feel like the bad person, and this can make you want to avoid that situation, because the next point is this: sometimes you just don't want to rock the boat. You're comfortable in the season, you're comfortable in the relationship that you have with this individual person, and so therefore you don't want to rock the boat by having a difficult conversation which inevitably will change potentially how you relate to one another in this relationship. But because you don't want to because you don't want to rock the boat and be the one that's going to cause that turbulence, you tend to try and avoid that conversation. Another thing is also as well, you know, either you're the emotional person or they are the emotional person, and you're scared that having this conversation will cause an emotion or evoke an emotion that will make you feel a certain way. And that's the honest truth. Their emotion will evoke something in you, and that will make you potentially feel bad, which will lead on to our next point, which will be the fact that sometimes we think that when we have this conversation, we are fearful of the criticism and the judgment that will come from it from the other individual. You know, you saying that, look, you know, the way that, you know, we sometimes talk, the way you talk to me sometimes, I don't like it, and then you're fearing that there could be a criticism or judgment, or you're too soft. And there's something going to come back at you. But that's not the point of the conversation. The point of the conversation is get your point across. 2020 is a year of change and introspection, and requires for you to look at the processes that you go through and change something to get a different result. And so these difficult conversations, yes, There may be a critique and there may be a judgment coming your way, but you need to have this conversation. You know, there was a difficult conversation I need to have with a colleague at work when it came to racism, and I was explaining about the Meghan Markle and Harry situation, and I had to have this conversation. At first, I was fearful. I was like, I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want a judgment or criticism to come. I don't want them to feel bad. I don't want them to feel like they can't talk to me no more. But I must address this because this is a critical and serious issue for me, and it's disturbing my peace. And that's how you got to think about difficult conversations. They disturb your peace. And sometimes we just don't know how to navigate, difficult conversations. We're not taught how to navigate these conversations. We're not born with, how to handle these conversations. There are things we learn and pick up in our environment that helps us be able to navigate such difficult conversations and confrontations within our friendship circles, our work circles, etc., etc. There are ways of handling conflict. And sometimes when we haven't been taught that, we tend to avoid. And that can make it very difficult to actually, again, engage in such conversations that are tricky, painful, emotional, and not necessarily straightforward. The reason why we feel this way is because we've been taught and learned thinking that our actions will betray our feelings. Our actions betray our feelings that we shouldn't express ourselves. So now when you begin to address somebody, you feel like you don't have the right to express yourself. That's part of the thinking as well, that you feel like you're not worthy to express your opinions because who are you? And why should you be able to have an opinion? Why should you be able to express yourself? Why should you feel a certain way? And that's one of the reasons why you decide to shy away from difficult conversations, number one. Sometimes we fear the loss of the individual. We're scared that we'll lose this individual when it comes to difficult conversations. We feel like if we have this conversation, the person will walk away. Guess what? The person is either doing you a disservice as being a friend, or you're doing them a disservice by not addressing it. If they leave you, they were never yours. And that's just a painful truth. If they leave you from having a difficult conversation, they were never yours in the first place. Because when it comes to this particular thing, when it comes to relationships, there is an honesty and a transparency that is needed. And if we can't be honest and transparent with one another, then we can never really be friends. Because I'm always on eggshells with you. I'm always on tiptoes with you. I'm always having to watch your feelings, but you don't care about mine. That is not an effective relationship or friendship in that kind of manner. Or, so that's something that, again, people often fear as to why sometimes they avoid this serious conversation. Some of you got information, you have discussions with people and literally, you've got a friend or a family member and they've done something to you, maybe even a year ago, maybe even 2, maybe even 5 years ago. And you're feeling to yourself, well, I don't want to drag up old things, I should really be over it. And yet you're not over it. What does that tell you? Address the situation, address the thorn in your side. Okay, now whether it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, last week, you are entitled to share your feelings regardless of the length of time. Length of time is not anything to do with what you got to share. You're feeling a certain way, so share how you feel. Let that person know. Do not be afraid of the time scale. Do not be afraid. The time scale's got nothing to do with how you feel. How you feel, you must express it. We are scared that, and we might say these lines, what would it solve? What would I gain from this by talking about this? It won't change things anyway. And actually, it does change things. And actually, it does solve some problems. And actually, it does change some things. The things that need to change aren't the individual who's standing in front of you, who's confronting you, but rather you. Sometimes you are your biggest enemy. Maybe if you had that conversation and spoke about what you're feeling, then potentially some of the things that would have changed. But because you decided that you feel like nothing will change, nothing's gonna be different, therefore nothing will be different because you've not put a different input to gain a different output. And sometimes the biggest stumbling block is you. Something will change, whether it's them or whether it's you. And sometimes we have a rule where we say family first. Family has to be first. My family has to be before me. Your family comes before even your emotions. That can't be the case. You know, you've taught yourself that your feelings are not valuable, they're not needed, they're not important, and therefore everything else must come first. You know, actually it comes from a place of self-protection and pride. You know, you don't want to you don't want to be vulnerable out there. That's the reason why you're not expressing how you feel. You don't want to be vulnerable. You're scared of critique. You're scared that someone's going to come back to you and say something else, which will then make you more fragile to how you feel. But actually, you need to do this. You need to express yourself in a difficult conflict, in a difficult conversation, in difficult circumstances. That's the only way you're going to see some change in your output. So yes, there are difficult conversations we have, and the reason why people dodge them, there are many. So what we're going to do in the next video, we're going to talk about, or in the previous video, we're speaking about how to actually implement this into you know, our lives daily. So yeah, guys, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Click on the link down below for our Minerals Gang merchandise. We hope what you like, what you see. Comment down below. Let us know your thoughts about difficult conversations. Why do you avoid difficult conversations? Let us know down below, and we will continue the conversation. Again, watch out for us next week. Appreciate you guys. Stay locked, stay loaded.